Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. In the previous video we created a Angular project, and you guys might be wondering why I created a project first and I didn't tell you the work of all this software that we installed previously. So I did this because it would be very easy for you guys to understand everything in the project instead of doing everything in the theory. Okay, so we will do everything uh, in the project by practically. So I hope you guys have created successfully the project, Angular project, and it's possible that some of you guys might got the error of ng command not found. It's very common, and I will tell you to how to solve that error. Open your command prompt and type node hyphen hyphen version. If this version doesn't shown up in your PC, then you guys have to reinstall the Node.js. After that, type ng hyphen hyphen version. This is basically my Angular CLI version, and it's very important to run your Angular project. So you need this. If this doesn't come in your PC, then you have to type npm install -g with Angular CLI. Here -g means we are going to install Angular CLI globally. I have already installed, so I will not run this command. After that, open your Visual Studio Code and go to the folder where you have created your project. This is my project, my app. Select folder and open this. Now this is my project, my complete Angular project. And you guys might be wondering why I didn't tell you anything about the Node.js and Visual Studio Code and about Angular in my previous video. This is because it's very easy to learn the theory part while applying to the project. So we created the project first, and then I will teach you everything of the theory part by applying it into the project. So it would be very easy for you guys to learn. So Angular, what is Angular? So Angular is a JavaScript framework. Now you guys might be wondering why you said JavaScript framework. We we will not use JavaScript in this. We will use TypeScript. So TypeScript is also a superset of JavaScript. It's a programming language, and it's a superset of JavaScript. Means it has some additional features which which JavaScript doesn't have. So why we installed Node.js? We installed Node.js because the Google Chrome doesn't understand the TypeScript. So you need to transpile the TypeScript into the JavaScript, and that for that you need Node.js. So this is the work of Node.js. After that, why we installed Visual Studio Code? We will do our whole coding and everything, our everything of our project in Visual Studio Code. So it's a basic editor. After that, we run a command. We installed what our Angular CLI using the command npm install -g angular Angular CLI. So what's the next thing we need to learn? So we have to understand all the file. What does this file means? Because it's very important to for you to learn everything about the new thing you are learning. Okay, so you should know what does these file means. Though some of them are not necessary to learn, but I will tell only the necessary one. So let's start with the index.html. Index.html is the only HTML file that will run on this server side. Okay, that's why we said Angular is used to create single page application, and this is the only single page that will run on server. That's why we said it as SPA framework, that is single page application. Next is main.ts. Main.ts is the first file that will run. It will bootstrap our application. Okay. Polyfill, this you can ignore. This is for testing. You can ignore this too. Next is angular.json. So angular.json contains all the project related configuration or the uh, root for work folder path and all. Okay. Next is this, you can ignore all this. So package.json, it contains all the dependencies. Okay. As you can see, the dependencies, it contains all the dependencies. So it is also indicating which Angular version we are using. You can see in every dependency it's starting with 10. So we are using the Angular 10. Next is tsconfig.json. It contains all the compiler options like compiler configurations. Okay, you can change in your compiler options like that. It's not a necessary thing for a beginner, but necessary one I told you. Next, we have to learn about components. What is a component? It's a very important, a very basic thing for a Angular beginner. So let's start with whatever is in your app.component.html. I suggest you to delete all that and make it an empty file. After that, I'll tell you what is component are a key feature in Angular. Okay, we build our whole application by composing it from a couple of components. Okay, component which we create on our own. Okay, so app.component is our root component which holds entire application basically in the end. So okay, each component has its own template, its own HTML code, its own styling. As you can see here, app is a component, it's a basic root component and contains its styling app.component.ts css and its HTML own HTML file and its own TS file. You can ignore this .spec.txt, it's for testing, or we could also delete this. Let's delete this. It's not necessary. So only these three files are necessary. CSS is for styling, HTML is for giving template, and this is for business logic. It's basically the TypeScript file. Okay. So let's start with learning about the component. So what's inside a component? Okay, so first one is the selector. I will tell you in the most layman way what is a selector. Okay, so consider your component as a lock which you usually use in your house to lock your door. So consider a component as a lock and selector as a key. Whenever and wherever you want to use your component, you have to use your key to unlock your component. Now you might be remembering where we used app component. Here you can see, as I said, this is the first file, and as I also said, app component is the basic component, is the first component that the index.html file will render. And here you can see what is this app hyphen root. Basically this is the selector that we are giving. So you can see here app.component.ts, this is selector, and here it is app root. Now I think you all guys have understood the thing, the selector. Next, come to the template URL. So template URL is the URL, or you can say the path of the template. Template means your HTML code. So you are giving the path of your HTML file, as you can see, is /app.component.html, and here it is app.component.html. Now you guys might be wondering why we have to use another file, why we can't write a HTML code here. Yes, you are right, you can write your HTML code here too, and I'll tell you how. Just use this and use this to back, I know what this is called. So you write h1 as your HTML code and write hello Angular. Okay, and close this tag. I'm considering you as a beginner in HTML, so you should know these tags, about all these tags. So h1, and after that As we have given only the template. Now you have to remove this URL, because we are not giving the URL, we are not giving the file path, we are only writing the template. So you should remove the URL. Now the the only command to run your project is ng serve, and this is only one time command. After that you just have to save your file, and everything, the compiler will automatically compile your project. So ng serve, press enter and wait for a few seconds. It take time to compile. It's compiling, and yes, as you can see, Angular Live Development Server is listening on localhost 4200, compiled successfully. Now we'll open our localhost, and here you can see hello Angular. Cool. Hello Angular is being printed here. Now you guys might understood the thing, what is template and what is template URL. So we'll undo this. Now you guys might be thinking why, as I said, you guys might be wondering why we don't write this template here, and why we make another file for HTML code. Basically, when you create big projects, you have to write a long HTML code, and you can write here too, but when you have some errors in your project, then it would be very difficult for you guys to understand those errors and bugs. So it's very preferable and also very good to make a separate file for your HTML code. So we'll do this and we'll write HTML URL. As I said, it's a good thing. So we'll save this. As you can see, after save, you don't have to write ng serve again and again. Press Ctrl S and your project will get automatically compiled. Next, come to the style URL. As it's same as HTML. You can also write your styling part here after removing this, and you can also you can also add a same separate file for CSS styling. Next, come to title. Title is for your app. For app title, as I said, I gave my app. You can see my app here. Okay. So next, come to the how we use components. Okay. Let's say I write in the HTML part of app component, app I am app component. Okay. And I'll tell you how to create custom component. Means create create component. How to create component? Press plus, and to create a component, there's a command ng gc. Gc means generate component, and your component name. Let's say I'll give hello, my component name, and press enter. As you can see, my component is being created. As I said, a component has always its own template file, its own TS file, and it's all CSS file. So come to the previous part. As I wrote here, h1, I'm an app component. Let's save this and see in our browser. You can see I'm app component here. Go back to the Visual Studio Code, and now you guys might be wondering how we could use this hello component as we have created. Why the hello component is not working. As you can see, hello works. Let's change it to h1. I am hello component. Okay, let's save this. I wrote a hello component. I'm a hello component, but why it is not showing here? Why hello component is being not shown? It's not shown here. Okay, so I will tell you why. But I said you, component is a lock, and to unlock a component you have to use the key. And what is the key? We'll go to the component, we'll open TS file, and we'll check what is the key. Here, yes, key is app hyphen hello. So we will go to app component and we will give on the key. I will give the key to my app component. Let's say my key is app hyphen hello. Yes, this is my key. I'll save this, and let's see my hello component is has been unlocked, is got unlocked or not. Yeah, there you see. I am hello component is uh, is running successfully. Okay, I'm hello component is being printed here. So you guys might be wondering also that why we create a component, why can't we write all the HTML code in this file while we create a separate component, while we create the separate component, while we write here the separate HTML code. Why can't we write all the HTML code in app.component? I'll tell you why. First of all, it's very easy to divide your code. As you guys are coding, I hope you know that it's always preferable and it's always good to divide your code, because it would be very easy to find the errors. So for this, we also, let's say, will oh sorry, now I will tell you why we use a component. At hello, let's copy this. Control C, and let's, now you can see, there you can see I am hello component is used 6 times. You can use it as many as times you want, and you don't have to write this code again and again. You just have to use the key and your component will get unlocked, and you can use your component anywhere. Okay, now I hope you guys have understood everything. I think the component everything is completed. Okay, I'll see if anything is left. Okay, app.module.ts is the file in which we declare our components. So in the previous versions of Angular, you have to write manually and import manually your component here. But in the latest feature, you don't have to uh, write this import statement manually. The compiler does this automatically, and you don't have to write it. So I think everything is completed. Okay, nothing is left. And app.routing.module.ts is the file which we will use further. Okay, this for now you can learn only routing is for navigation. Okay, when we have to route from one component to another, we will use routing. Okay, that's it. I think everything is completed. uh, that's it in the component, and the next thing we will see in the next video.